guys at Standing with Words Are Matter, inspired to share a super simple quantum languaging upgrade that will absolutely transform your life and the world for the infinitely better. Let's talk about the word if. Oh, if. Wherever shall we begin? For starters, it's a lollygagger. If is yet another non-committal fence-riding word, except if doesn't stop with the dilly-dallying, decision-procrastinating thing. No, if likes to multitask, introducing a whole host of distractions, interruptions, and potential apocalyptic anythings into our collective fields of possibility, only to inadvertently deter our stated aims. If entertains notions of failure, flakiness, and worst-case scenarios, attempting to play it safe in the cozy comfort zone of future projected possibility, wondering if something outside itself is going to nudge said possibility into existence. If is passive and weak, readily relinquishing the speaker's power to an imaginary authority, or a string of theoretical circumstances that may arbitrarily allow it permission to be. Or not. Whatevs. The word if is encoded with the frequencies of doubt, failure, lack of commitment, and not doing. I'm hearing this coming out of the mouths of spiritual leaders, spiritual teachers, really, really powerful truth tellers who are inadvertently purving the efficacy and the potency of their super valuable messages by modifying their instructions with the word if. I've heard this come from the mouths of many of my favorite teachers, Pam Gregory, Phil Good, Aset, Uwaku. I don't know, I might be mangling that. Aset, I love all of your content. A lot of amazing astrologers and mystics. I just listened to a fabulous webinar by a Gene Key sister, Rosie Aronson, and she said, if we are to meet this crisis with grace. So if we are to meet this crisis with grace, that is encoding in the message a bunch of doubt, a bunch of wishy-washiness. It's offering the viewer the opportunity to not meet this crisis with grace. Is that what she said? Yes, with grace. It allows the audience member to entertain notions of doubt, right? It's transmitting those frequencies of doubt, failure, lack of commitment, not doing. In saying, if we meet this crisis with grace, Rosie is presenting the possibility of us not meeting the crisis with grace, which is going to make it all the easier for her audience to connect with the frequencies of doubt, failure, lack of commitment, not doing, and to not meet this crisis with grace. Now, of course, a seemingly obvious upgrade for if is when. So when we meet this crisis with grace. And thank you, Rosie, for allowing me to use this and your amazing webinar as my teaching tool. So when I say, when we meet this crisis with grace, it does lend more certainty to the statement, but what it does is that it puts it off for the future, right? So it's not something we're invoking now when we meet this crisis with grace. So it's like some nebulous future, maybe possibly moment, then we will, at that point, meet the crisis with grace. It's a lollygagging word, when, as a replacement for if. It allows us to procrastinate this meeting the crisis with grace. It allows us to put it off for some nebulous future, maybe, possibly time that may or may not come. So much, much stronger. And the upgrade that I'm inviting you and me and all of us to invoke now is as we meet this crisis with grace. Feel the difference. Say it to yourself. Notice what it feels like in your body to say, if we meet this crisis with grace, right? When I feel in my body, I feel this like wavering. I feel a literal shakiness from here to here, from my heart to my solar plexus. I feel this unstable, vacillating energy. Now notice what it feels like to say, as we meet this crisis with grace. Do you feel how stable that is? I just felt my solar plexus completely expand into a 1,000-petaled lotus, into this like uber super stable fortress of a grounding architectural base for myself and for all of us. When we say, as we make this shift from if to as, from potential infused with doubt and lack of commitment to an empowered certainty of present moment invoking that is as, that is the energy, that is the basis, that is the support structure that fuels us and guides us through this transition with grace. As we meet this crisis with grace, as we meet this crisis with grace. So there's no doubt, there's no if, there's no maybe, there's no future potential that we're hedging our bets on, right? We are taking complete agency and authority over the choice to meet this crisis with grace. And we are doing it in the present moment. And as we language our up-leveled visions from this frequency of present moment, authoritative, inner agency-driven certainty, we invite people into that commitment. We share that certainty. We share that empowerment. It's so much easier for our fellow brothers and sisters to hop on board our visions, to hop on board the choice to meet this crisis with grace. It's very generous to language our visions with the present moment as versus the wishy-washy if, because we're lending our confidence and our certainty to others. And other people who might not be as confident yet, who might not yet be as certain, can rest in that, can find strength in that, can be emboldened by that. So this languaging hack is so simple, and it is so massive in its triumphant, transformative implications. So super simply, I'm inviting you and me and all of us to relinquish our ifs, to relinquish the doubt, the uncertainty, the failure, and the lack of commitment encoded in those ifs, and to replace them with present moment empowerment by way of as. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for remembering that every word matters, that you are omniscopic amazingness and a sovereign badass. Have a rockin' day.